and welcome to News Now. I'm your host, Taylor Inman. We're going over the week's biggest headlines for Northwest Montana. Food banks in Bigfork and Lakeside are expecting to see more people than usual in November as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits are put on hold due to the federal government shutdown. Board president with the West Shore Food Bank, Julia Sunday, watched a line form outside of the pantry on Monday, about 30 minutes ahead of opening the doors for their weekly distribution. She said this is already earlier than most people show up, but given the news that SNAP may expire, they are anticipating needing to feed more people. Sunday said, quote, "We are poised to handle more volume. I don't know what that volume is going to be, but what I'm expecting today is greater food insecurity. I think people are going to want to take more, fill their bags better, and we're going to let them do that so we can take care of everybody," end quote. Due to the ongoing government shutdown, the U.S. Department of Agriculture alerted states to stop the issuance of SNAP benefits for the month of November until further notice, according to the Montana Department for Public Health and Human Services. More than a dozen states sued the Trump administration on Tuesday, seeking to maintain funding for SNAP benefits. The program helps nearly 42 million Americans with food assistance each month. In Montana, nearly 80,000 people use SNAP. Bigfork Food Bank Executive Director Jamie Quinn said that breaks down to around 4,500 households between Flathead and Lincoln counties. Quinn said many people have reached out to the food bank this week to ask how they can help in preparation. She said she feels fortunate to have the Bigfork community behind them as they head into these uncertain times. It's unfortunate timing heading into the holiday season. Quinn said even if there is a delay in sending out benefits rather than a full stop for the entire month, that will still impact how people buy their groceries. Though neither pantry could predict the number of new people they anticipate seeing next month, Quinn said she believes the ripple effects of no benefits will hit people the hardest toward the end of the month. Quinn said some might not feel it on week 1 or 2, but after week 3 or 4, around the time of Thanksgiving, she expects to see a larger amount of people. But it's hard to predict at this point. For holiday distribution, the Bigfork Food Bank typically meets with regular patrons by appointment, where they fill out a shopping list. Quinn said they typically serve between 100 and 115 households during the holiday season. She expressed disappointment that government officials are not taking typical steps to intervene. When the government shut down in 2018 and 2019, the federal government administered SNAP benefits early. She said the Bigfork Food Bank has lifted all pantry limits for November, something they plan to do regardless at the start of 2026. Previously, patrons could have 3 visits a month unless they expressed needing extra food. Quinn added that they never turn people away. Anyone looking to help can drop shelf-stable foods in the blue bin outside of the door at the food bank, which is checked daily. There is also a drop-off location at Harvest Foods. Quinn said any business interested in having a bin or hosting a drive can reach out to the food bank. Sunday at the West Shore Food Bank echoed similar needs. She said they were always looking for shelf-stable items like peanut butter, oats, flour, sugar, oil, and cereal. Though they have a lot of mashed potatoes at the moment, she added that anyone bringing any staples they could think of would not be overstepping. Dollar donations are also welcome as the funds allow the pantry to purchase what they need at any given moment. The West Shore Food Bank distributes once a week, alternating between Mondays and Tuesdays. Pickup on Mondays runs from around 4 to 6 p.m. and on Tuesdays between 9 to 11 a.m. A full calendar can be found at westshorefoodbank.com. The Bigfork Food Bank has distribution every Tuesday except during the weeks of Thanksgiving and Christmas. During the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month, the pantry is open from 4 to 6 p.m., and on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month, the pantry is open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the occasion a month has a 5th Tuesday, they are open from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. A full calendar can be found at bigforkfoodbank.org. The Flathead County Agency on Aging avoided cuts to its home-delivered meals program after receiving a funding boost from the state legislature, the first in a decade. The money will also help keep afloat the 8 other agencies across the state that make up the Montana Area Agencies on Aging Association, which runs senior centers and offers in-home assistance, caregiver support, and Medicare consultations. While federal funding through the Older Americans Act has somewhat kept pace with inflation, state funding has remained stagnant, despite climbing operational costs and a growing senior population. For 2025, around $6.7 million in state funding was doled out to the agencies, which is roughly $500,000 more than what was given by the 2015 legislature. During that time, costs rose 32% due to inflation, according to data from the Area Agencies on Aging Association. In the county, employee and food costs more than doubled since 2019, according to data from the Flathead County Agency on Aging. But the senior assistance organizations received what they asked for, an additional $2 million per year signed off by Governor Greg Gianforte in the summer and budgeted in the state's general fund. Without the money, about 630 older Montanans were at risk of losing services, resulting in crises forcing many prematurely into Medicaid long-term care, according to the association. Director of the Flathead County Agency on Aging, Carla Diment, said this was a catch-up ask to maintain their levels. Of the state's $2 million allocation, $330,000 in annual funding was directed to the county organization, bringing its funding up to a little more than $800,000. The extra dollars filled in funding gaps that would have resulted in cuts to the Meals on Wheels program. The service delivers hot and healthy food to hundreds of seniors Monday through Friday. The Meals on Wheels program delivers to about 630 individuals countywide each year. The agency also runs several community dining locations that serves an average of 1,200 seniors a year. The funding will go toward personnel and food costs tied to both programs. With COVID relief dollars dried up and the future of federal programs under the Trump administration in doubt, Diment put a wait list on the Meals on Wheels program in February for the first time ever. The list reached up to 20 people. She was predicting a $250,000 to $300,000 gap in maintaining the current level of service for the nutrition programs. Before the funding was allocated, Diment said she felt like she was treading water. Diment said Meals on Wheels keeps seniors from being placed in facility-based care prematurely, which increases costs to the state. The human connection of getting hand-delivered meals is appreciated by seniors as well, according to volunteer drivers. About 28% of older Montanans live alone, many of whom don't have family to help them, according to data provided by the Montana Area Agencies on Aging Association. Diment predicts the association will have to come back with another ask from the state legislature eventually. First responders testified this week in the trial of a man accused of running over his ex-wife in Martin City in 2023. In Flathead County District Court on Wednesday, paramedic Scott Kornblum recounted speaking with Kimberly Gillum. She was sitting up in a Martin City alleyway and talking with first responders as she waited on the ambulance in the early morning hours of June 18, 2023. Kornblum said at that point she was responsive and answering questions. Firefighters were talking to her about her kids, and it wasn't clear at that point if she was seriously hurt. He said it wasn't until they were headed to Logan Health Medical Center in a Three Rivers EMS ambulance that Gillum began deteriorating and stopped responding. Kornblum joined several first responders in testifying October 28th at the trial of the man accused of running over Gillum and causing her death, her 40-year-old ex-husband Kenneth James Floyd. He has pleaded not guilty to felony counts of negligent homicide, leaving the scene of a vehicle accident involving serious bodily injury or death, and tampering with physical evidence. Judge Dan Wilson is presiding over Floyd's trial, which began earlier this week. Prosecutors alleged in charging documents that Floyd was visiting with Gillum in the cab of his pickup truck that morning. She got out when her husband, Chris Gillum, spotted the two of them together and began yelling at Floyd, according to court documents. As Kimberly Gillum rounded the front of the truck, Floyd allegedly shifted into drive, running her over as he left the alleyway between First Avenue North and Central Avenue. When Kornblum arrived at around 1 a.m., he said he had no trouble identifying the victim. She had suffered an open fracture to her left leg, he said. He recalled speaking with Gillum, asking her about her injuries. She showed him her leg and told him that she had been run over, according to Kornblum. When she later became unresponsive, Kornblum remembered alerting the hospital so that the medical team there was ready. He began running fluids to her while the volunteer Martin City firefighter on board began manually ventilating her, helping her with respiration. He said she went into cardiac arrest as they pulled into the hospital. He learned later that she had died. While Kornblum rushed Gillum to Kalispell, law enforcement personnel with the Flathead County Sheriff's Office and Montana Highway Patrol were unsuccessfully looking for Floyd. Investigators testified Wednesday that he fled to Browning after the ultimately fatal collision. If convicted of negligent homicide, Floyd faces up to 20 years behind bars and a $50,000 fine. Special Deputy County Attorney Eric Kitzmiller and Assistant Attorney General Edward Hirsch are prosecuting the case. The two are on loan from the state after County Attorney Travis Ainer requested help with his office's caseload in 2024, citing staffing shortages at the time. Floyd's defense team is led by attorney Jamie Rebsam. Thanks for joining us. News Now is a podcast from the Daily Interlake. We're proud to be the largest independent newsroom in Montana and the longest continuously published newspaper in the region. Today's stories were written by yours truly, as well as Daily Interlake news editor Derek Perkins and reporter Jack Underhill. You can read the full version of these stories at dailyinterlake.com. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode of the pod. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thanks to our sponsor, Lauren's Auto Repair at 1309 U.S. Highway 2 in Kalispell. Most consistently rated 5-star shop serving the Kalispell area. Visit laurensauto.com.